Hi, I'm Rachel Lynn, and I am on a journey to get out of my student loan debt and lose some weight along the way. If any of that interests you, go ahead and click that red subscribe button down below, and stay tuned for the rest of this video as I go over my August budget setup. It is about time for a new month, and oh my goodness, this is not Friday. What? Things are crazy. I am not posting a budget video on Financial Friday. I'm switching things up. I'm doing my Financial Friday video on a different day, and then I am switching and I'll post a different video on Friday. But because the first starts in the middle of the week, I wanted to go ahead and get this video up before the new month starts. So that being said, let's go ahead and start to set up my August budget, and things are very different now because I do not have an income this month, so things will be very different. Alright, so I am going to set up, I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm going to rename this August. And then I'm going to make this bigger so that it's easier for you to see. Now that it is bigger and you can see it better, I am going to clear everything out. And I'm going to add my first note here. So I have no official income for the month of August, so any needed money that I need, it will come from my savings account, and I will just transfer that in. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to show it on my main budget here yet, but I will get to that later. So next I'm going to go through and delete everything. So first of all, let me quickly go over the way that this is set up, just in case you are new. So I have bare bones budget. That is bare bones that I need to survive while in storm mode until I find a job. I came up with this budget a couple months ago, I think, knowing that I might not have an income starting in August. So I have this bare bones budget. My general budget, I'm keeping that just to kind of see, once I do have a regular income again and I do find a teaching job, then I can go ahead and kind of base my budget based on this for the most part and keep things down, even though hopefully my income will go up. So I do have that. That's just to kind of remind me where I started, so I can kind of go back to that or go back to something similar once I do have an income. My allotted spending, this is where my actual budget for the month will be, and this is where I'm going to work. I'm going to work with this section right here. So the first thing I do with this is figure out how many Mondays there are in the month, and that's how many times my automatic payment will come out. So I give $30 a week, and that is an automatic withdrawal, and I like that because I don't have to worry about it, and I don't have to remember to write a check or remember to buy checks. I don't even have any checks, and I don't have to remember to bring money or get money from the bank. I don't have to remember any of that. It's just automatically given to my church. So in the month of August, there are only 4 Mondays, so that's how many times this will come out. So I am going to bring this back to 120. Now, you'll see my bare bones budget has 0, and I'm not getting paid in the month of August. I'm not going to give that up until I feel like I absolutely have to. I feel like I have enough money in savings that I can continue to give to my church, and I'll be fine. I'm kind of torn on this because I don't have an income, so I kind of feel like, I don't need to tithe because I don't have an income, so you tithe on your income. Well, my church giving is not a tithe. My church does not require a tithe. It does not ask for a tithe. It just asks for us to give as we can, which is why I don't give a full 10%, and I am slowly upping that each year at the amount that I give, and it will make a big jump once I actually am out of debt, but I want to continue to give. My church bases their budget based on what our I say pledge, but it's not exactly a pledge, I guess, but we kind of tell them what we can do and what we can provide, and our church bases their budget on that. Yeah, my budget is kind of messed up because I don't have an income, but I do have the means to continue giving, and I have, I feel like I have not given enough, and I want to keep giving. until I absolutely cannot give anymore. And so I am going to continue to give. My savings is not something that I add onto, but I do put money in savings. So it's interest that I earn from Capital One 360 accounts. I put that into savings, and then while I am in bare bones budget mode, I put all of my extra money is going into savings to be able to provide for me as long as I don't have a job. And then once I have a job and income secured and I am receiving a check, then all of that money that I have in savings will all go towards debt. And I'm so excited to put that money towards debt because that will really help me out a lot. But right now, like, I don't plan how much I'm putting towards savings, so I just leave it blank. My rent is actually my Now That undergrad. I live at home with my parents. My parents are paying for my undergraduate degree, and instead of me paying rent to my parents and my parents paying them, then I just pay them. And my rent is actually only $200 a month, and my parents actually give me $73 to make up the difference. They usually provide that for me in cash, and I don't typically deposit that money. I just kind of keep that as free money to spend. My parents don't always give me the $75 because like every 3 months I owe dues, and so they pay that for the union that I'm in to work at Churchill Downs in Keeneland, which is one of my side hustles. And so sometimes they pay for that, and instead of paying me for my undergrad and then me paying them, like there's a lot of like money going around here and there between my parents and I all the time. So anyway, we have it worked out. Like, we know what money is where, and I mean, we just don't worry about it. So I just keep it as a line item budget, and I just kind of, for the most part, think of my rent as being $273.66 because that's the minimum payment on my undergrad loans. This, of course, is in income-based repayment, so it is very low. And then this is also in income-based repayment, but my graduate loan payment that I'm fully responsible for, that is $110.24. These are minimum payments, have to pay that, so that's why they're on there. Extra student loan payment, typically I like to put at least an extra $1,000 towards the debt on top of that, but while I am in bare bones budget mode, it's all going to savings, so that is a 0. Extra checking account, that's 0. That I never add anything to that. That's just an extra account so that I can easily access my Capital One 360 savings accounts. My sinking funds, $170. This is not actually what is in my sinking funds accounts right now because honestly, the month of July is not over yet, and I know that there will be some more things coming out of here. So these numbers will be adjusted, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to go over about what is in the fund, sort of. So Progressive is $390. I did not put anything extra in gifts. I did not add anything to miscellaneous. Car repairs is $450. Clothing was not added to. Medical is $350. Laptop is $350, which by the time you see this, I might have already gotten a laptop, so that might actually be 0. But as of the filming of this video, I have not actually spent any money on a new laptop. Family time is $275. That's another one that I know that is going to be different because I will have spent some money from that. And then extra change is 0. I just do that to kind of like balance out the change and make everything whole dollar amounts, but I stopped doing that while in bare bones budget mode because every cent is going to savings. So now looking at what I want to keep, my Progressive has to stay the same. Gifts, I can keep it at 0. Miscellaneous, it's a full fund, which is why it's on this side, because it is full as it is. So I don't need to worry about that one. Car repairs and replacement makes me nervous to not add any money to that. So, I think what I'm going to do is not add any money to it because I have money in savings. If something happens to my car, I can just pull the money from savings. Most car repairs, any major car repairs that I've ever had, most of them have been about $400. Thinking about inflation, maybe it might be like $500 now. If something terrible goes wrong with my car, then I have money to cover most car repairs. Plus, I have all of the money already in savings to cover anything bigger than that. And then once I have a job, then I can start out with my sinking fund where it is, $450. If nothing happens and I get a job, then I'll just start out there. It'll be fine. Clothing, I'm not adding anything to that. Medical, I kind of feel like I need to keep adding to medical, just in case something happens. I no longer have health insurance, and if something happens, then I feel like I should have money in there. You know what? This is kind of like the same situation with my car repairs. I have extra money in savings, and most of the time, if something happens to me medically, then it takes a while for bills to come, medical bills, and then once they do come, they're typically not interest accruing. So I would just have to pay the bills outright. I mean, if something happens to me, I'm going to have to pay it regardless, and the money is either going to be in my sinking funds or in my savings account to pay off debt. And so as long as I can get a job before anything medically happens to me, then I should be fine, because then I'll have health insurance through that new job. My laptop, I'm going to take that off because honestly, I probably won't have any of that money left in there. I'll probably use that $350 plus some of my savings to get a new computer. I'm going to take that down. And then family time, I'm actually going to keep that. With my mom being as sick as she is, my family's too important. So I'm actually going to keep family time, at least for now. So now that I have adjusted everything down below, you can see this has already automatically changed because I have it set to take the totals from down below to up here, and I don't have to change things multiple times and then forget that I changed something and then be lost in my budget. Like, everything in my budget is connected. So I now have $95 going towards sinking funds, even though my bare bones budget is really just my car insurance. I really feel like I want to actually raise this to $95 and keep family time in there all the time. Like, it's too important. My HP Instant Ink will stay the same. That is a printer ink service where I get ink delivered to my house for me, so I'm going to keep that. My Verizon bill will stay the same. Gas, I am actually going to bring this down to just the regular amount. It was up the month before because I knew I was going to do some traveling, but I didn't use what I normally budget for gas. Groceries is bare bones budget. Teaching is bare bones budget. Spending is bare bones budget. Restaurants and weight loss, all bare bones budget. So now you can see $802.35 is my bare bones budget. That's how much I bare minimum need to survive on. And I mean, that still gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Now, groceries, that's one that really probably could come down even more. I might go ahead and bring this down a little bit more. I probably don't need that much in groceries because my parents buy most of the groceries, and if there's anything that I absolutely need, the groceries not really that big of an emergency. So I'm even going to bring that down here. Teaching is something that I need to keep just because that also includes resume paper and things that I might need for looking for a job. If I have a job and if I get a job, then that will immediately come up and go up because depending on what grade I end up teaching, I might need to purchase several things. If I teach kindergarten, I'm not going to need a whole lot because I have a lot. But if I teach any other grade level, I'm probably going to need to buy some things for my classroom. Spending money is $40, and that might sound like a lot. It kind of feels like a lot after the last couple of months. Like, knowing how little I've spent, that does feel like a lot. But the spending money also includes things like makeup and any kind of beauty supplies that I need, hair ties and deodorant and all of that stuff. So that stuff is incorporated into spending money. So, and I know that I'm going to need some deodorant soon. I'm also going to need some more face powder, makeup powder, and maybe even some foundation. Yeah, I think I need, I do need new foundation. I'm using foundation it's really old actually. So, and it's almost out. So I'm going to need some of those things coming up pretty soon. And that's all encompassed into spending. That's why spending is as much as it is, because it includes needed items in addition to just doing fun things. Restaurants is $25. That is very minimal, and I'm going to keep it at $25. I mean, that's like a couple of fast food places or one nice place. And I'm going to keep it at $25. Although I have gotten really good at going out to eat to places that I have gift cards for only. So, I mean, I've gotten really good, but I feel like 25 is like a good amount. Weight loss is one of those non-negotiables. My health is way too important. I do a 5K once a month. It's a goal that I set for myself at the beginning of the year. I may or may not use all of it. Most likely will not use all of it, but that is just, it's a non-negotiable for me, and I just set it at $50. So as you can see, my bare minimum, if I cut everything out, I only need $777.35 to kind of make it. And yes, I know that can be cut back even more if I cut it out a few more things, but at this point, I'm estimating $1,000 a month. And even my budgeted amount with church giving is $897.36. So it's still clearly under $1,000 that I need to survive. And my savings right now, I can survive about a year without working any extra jobs whatsoever. So I'm not going to worry too much about my money right now, as long as I can keep each month under $1,000. So when it comes to bringing money in from my savings, I'm not sure if I want to enter that money like in savings with a negative number, like pulling it out of savings. Or if I want to put it in my income. I don't like the idea of putting it in my income because it's not income money. That's kind of like the last thing I guess I really need to figure out, which maybe I just won't put anything in there, but then in order to balance it out, I need to have some income from somewhere, so it might be a negative number. I do know that in my yearly budget, I am going to use a negative number in my savings as I pull money out. And then even once I have a job and income and I pay put all that money towards student loans, it will be a negative number in my yearly budget. If you'd like to check out my 6-month update of my budget, then I will link that up in the sky above, and you can kind of see what my yearly budget looks like, and you can see what I'm talking about where I will put the negative number from savings. So that is my August budget setup. I'm just like, the time goes so fast. I can't believe it's August already. Although I'm also filming this really, really early, like really far ahead of time, just because the last couple weeks of July are pretty busy for me. So I would love to know how your August is shaping up. Have you done your budget yet? If not, you need to do that now. You have just a couple of days left to get it ready to go so that you do not start August in the red already because you're spending money that you haven't planned to spend yet. So get that budget done. Let me know what your August budget is looking like. So leave me a comment down below and let me know about that. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe and share and all that fun stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!